Justifying her own decision to silence them. If Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had absolute power, would you be able to disagree with her? What do you think? No, because clearly she doesn't think your opinions are valid. They're different from hers, so by definition, they're violent and racist. She isn't just allowed to silence you, she's obligated to if she believes that. And that's her perfect world. Shut up and obey. You get the message. Well, as he left the White House yesterday for that rally in North Carolina, the president briefly paused to remark about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's mysterious marriage history. Watch this.
There's a lot of talk about the fact that she was married to her brother. I know nothing about it. I hear she was married to her brother. You're asking me a question about it. I don't know, but I'm sure that somebody would be looking at that.
Well, it turns out someone has been looking into it. David Steinberg spent a decade as PJ Media's New York editor. He has been closely investigating Ilhan Omar's background for years since she entered public life. He's cultivated sources within the Minnesota Somali community. He knows as much about Omar's background as any reporter could know. Very few are interested, but he's deeply interested, and he should be. Just this morning, Steinberg released a piece on Powerline blog. In that piece, he repeats the claim that Omar married her biological brother. And then he makes this stunning allegation, sourced to members of the Minneapolis Somali community. Quote, in 1995, Ilhan entered the United States as a fraudulent member of the Omar family. That is not her family. The Omar family is a second unrelated family which was being granted asylum by the United States. The Omars allowed Ilhan, her genetic sister Sarah, and her genetic father Nur Saeed to use false names to apply for asylum as members of the Omar family. Ilhan's genetic family split up at this time. Ilhan's 3 other siblings, using their real names, managed to get asylum in the United Kingdom, unquote. Remarkable. Steinberg goes on to say Ilhan's brother was one of those 3 siblings, and that she was later legally married to this man, her biological brother, from 2009 until 2017. It's a shocking claim. So far, it is unproven. Omar has denied the story, but she hasn't disproven it. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Omar's local newspaper, responsible for a lot of fawning coverage about Omar, has tried to investigate the matter. They say they can neither confirm nor rebut the allegations. Omar is not participating. Last month, the paper noted that Omar has refused even to provide the full names of her immediate family. Let's read that again. The paper revealed last month that Omar will not even reveal the names of her family. None of her relatives have come forward to comment on this, by the way. It is all bizarre, but it deserves to be investigated. There is far more smoke here than there ever was for the idea that, say, the president colluded with Russia to rig the election. So we'd like to know more. Scott Johnson is a Minnesota attorney. He's a contributor to Powerline. He worked closely with Steinberg on this latest piece, and he joins us tonight. Scott, thanks very much for coming on. So this new allegation that Omar is not her name is made with some documentary evidence backing it up. I guess my first question would be, has Omar commented on this?
The answer to that is no. And I can't say that anyone has asked her about her, but her response to every question addressed to her that relates to any of these issues has been a non-response and an imputation of bigotry to the person asking it, including to the Star-Tribune in their June 23rd story that you alluded to, when they asked her about these revelations that had come out in the Minnesota State Campaign Finance Board investigation that suggested that her marriage to husband number 2, Ahmed Elmi, was a sham because she'd been filing tax returns with another man whom she wasn't married to while she was still married to Ahmed Elmi. When the Star-Tribune asked her about that, she implied that the Star-Tribune was colluding with Powerline in its bigoted pursuit of this story. And that's been her approach to her response to this story for the past 3 years. It's worked well for her so far, and it's really this State Campaign Finance Board findings that came out on June 6th last month that initiated this wave of attention to the story regarding the sham marriage she entered into in 2009. She always talks about her faith tradition when she talks about her marriages, but Coincidentally, but we posted on Powerline a screenshot of her marriage certificate to Ahmed Elmi, the husband number 2, and the marriage was performed by a Christian minister who signed it. So I have to say, when you say there's smoke, there's an awful lot of smoke, and Ilhan Omar's answer to all questions related to this has been a non-response and accusations of bigotry. That's her modus operandi.
So if the Star Tribune, which is run by cringing liberals, is a racist organ, then you know that we're dealing with a very high level of BS here. What is your view of this? You've looked as closely into this as anybody. Do you believe that she was involved in a sham marriage to her biological brother?
The sham marriage part, I would put at a 98% level of certainty. That's my view. The marriage to her brother part, I would put at about a 90% level of certainty. I would urge your viewers to take a look at David Steinberg's incredible piece of investigative journalism that we published on Powerline this morning. David lays out a variety of evidence, photographic, social media posts, interviews, and the like, showing the family relationships and reconstructing her original family, including the siblings in the United Kingdom, who include this Ahmed Elmi, whom she married in the year 2009 and who has returned to the United Kingdom. You really have to see this with your own eyes to see how much substance there is to the story, and I think there's a lot of substance.
I agree with that completely. This is not something that can be dismissed as a conspiracy theory or some right-wing nonsense. This is absolutely real. It's linked, by the way, live on Tucker Carlson Tonight Facebook page, and we hope our viewers will check it out. Scott Johnson, thank you very much for this. I know that we'll talk to you again. Good to see you.
Thank you for your interest in the story, Tucker.
It's an amazing story. Katie Pavlich is an